Sky News is projecting that the UK has voted out.
Today, the United Kingdom has changed its course in history.
After more than 40 years of membership.
Global markets across the world have been in a free fall.
I think the country requires fresh leadership to take it in this direction.
(52% to 48%). That was how close Britain's decision to leave the European Union was on the 23rd of June 2016. Almost 3 years on, Britons are still asking questions about the future of their country. Britain's uncertain future relationship with the European Union has left businesses and industries across the country with real concerns about their future. Grimsby had one of the highest leave votes in the UK. The EU's common fisheries policy allowed European boats to fish in UK waters. Some companies in the town, including Young's and Morrison's, process fish imported from European countries. Simon Dwyer runs Seafood Grimsby in Humber, which represents these companies. He told me that they've worked closely with government departments to safeguard their interests following Brexit.
The organisation has had a very close working relationship with both the Sea Fish Industry Authority, which is a non-departmental government body of DEFRA. About 90% of the fish that we process in Grimsby is imported from all over the world. We do process some fish from the United Kingdom, but there's never going to be enough fish from the United Kingdom.
I asked Simon whether they'd strive to maintain the importation of European fish, regardless of how difficult Brexit makes it.
Frozen fish, which comes from all over the world, has the advantage of being frozen. So if it just takes that a little bit longer due to whatever bureaucracy or delays it might be, then so be it, it's frozen.
But it's not just companies working to bring produce into the UK. Those exporting goods are also finding themselves affected.
We've had to commit to getting steel stock to last us 12 months into UK shores and building up stocks of other items as well. Either internally within us or ask our suppliers to build up stocks for us on UK shores.
You talked about the uncertainty. Do you think there's more that could have been done for businesses like yourself to make you a bit more conscious of what's going on?
I don't think it's from anybody else's, it's just actually Britain. Uncertainty that's causing this. It's not uncertainty about how it works. Everybody else seems to be willing to crack on, do their job, apart from the politicians. A lot of our customers outside the EU are Commonwealth countries. After the Brexit vote, my brother, a fellow director, and I called down on the customers, and the general consensus was that it could be a good thing for them.
I'm off down the road to Barnsley, where the Department for International Trade is running an event for businesses bracing for Brexit.
So how Brexit's going to impact your business? These are the areas, really, as a business, you ought to be looking at.
Albeit, why did they call it a no-deal Brexit? It's a WTO, World Trade Organization rules situations.
I see very little overnight impacts being created by Brexit.
I have to say the government are providing a lot of links now. But the trouble is, it's quite complex and it's not necessarily in layman's terms. I know I've got customers already who have had to put down more stock, so that's obviously taken up cash that they could use elsewhere. They've had to find new warehousing space. It's mainly all around the uncertainty.
With so many unanswered questions surrounding Britain's departure from the EU, it's impossible for businesses to predict how they'll be operating in a year's time.
Just before 1 o'clock today, Joe Cox, MP for Batley and Spenborough, was attacked in Market Street, Bristol. I am now very sad to have to report that she has died as a result of her injuries.
Right.
This is what has happened to our country.
Anna, you're a fascist. You're a fascist.
Why did you just shout treason? I mean, how's that helpful?
Brexit is the topic that has divided Britain like no other. But has it made the country a nation of hatred and intolerance?
Independence Day!
With Brexit, UKIP achieved its single primary goal, and ever since, it has struggled to identify itself. Under its current leader, its sixth since June 2016, the party has raised eyebrows as it shifted further to the right. Gerard Batten appointed EDL founder Tommy Robinson as an advisor in 2018, and the party has strayed closer to his ideology ever since.
He absolutely whips up hate, and for them to actually give him a platform, all I'd say is, as a country, we just don't need that at all.
UKIP have definitely shifted massively to the right. Once they took on Tommy Robinson as an advisor, it was quite clear where that trajectory was going.
Freddie Bailey is a councillor from Preston. He confronted Tommy Robinson in Blackpool.
Can you ask me a question? Do you think you're racist? Just quickly.
I was just trying to point out that whether it is in Blackpool or the North West, that actually we need to stand up against hate, and obviously he has some really extreme views, and they really need calling out. We do not accept your levels of hate and the language that you actually say. We don't accept it at all, and we want to ensure that you don't ever come anywhere near Preston. I mean, UKIP has shown the true colours, really, haven't they? I mean, for someone like Nigel Farage to even leave UKIP shows what sort of mess they're absolutely in, and I think the voters have realised actually UKIP isn't actual proper political party. It's just a racist party that just doesn't want any immigrant here at all.
Home Office statistics showed that hate crimes in the UK rose by 29% in the year after the EU referendum. In April, a mosque in Freddie's ward was vandalised with racist graffiti.
It was a horrendous thing to happen, but it's one of those that you realise actually how good the community is.
On the day when we were scrubbing the actual graffiti off in the morning by volunteers of the mosque, all the people that were passing by, they were absolutely horrified.
There's a lot of hatred, there's a lot of nastiness. The fact that you've got some hard right, violent people over here that are trying to bully and threaten should not prevent the majority of us doing the right thing.
Today, figures from across football are gathering here at the Etihad Stadium in Manchester to attend an event hosted by Show Racism Red Card, who for the past 23 years have used the high-profile nature of the sport to spread their message of stamping out racism across the UK.
We can see here in Britain, but right across Europe, the rise of the far right, the rise of racist sentiment in everyday life. I know in my constituency, only yesterday, somebody who was from an opposing political party from my own was punched in the stomach while she was campaigning on the streets of Essex.
But not everybody agrees that the political climate can be pinpointed as a leading factor in the rise of hate in the UK.
It's been going on for such a long time. To try and pin it down on certain people nowadays, I think, is very harsh.
In a nation that once prided itself on being the original civilised democracy, has Brexit truly made Britain a more hateful nation? For over 3 years now, political analysts have obsessed over data to try and gauge the public's opinion on Brexit. But how has Britain's perception changed since the EU referendum in June 2016? The University of Wales has led research into shifting social attitudes since the vote. Professor Paul Hutchings has overseen the programme in Swansea. He sat down with me to compare the data with their findings. We asked the public whether they felt Britain had become more hostile towards minorities since June 2016. 48% of people agreed, with 19% saying they strongly agreed.
I think there has been a certain shift, but it's not necessarily as extreme as people may think. But so much of this is played out in social media, in the press, that what we do end up with is people constantly looking for the next story, and the extreme story is always the one that will make the headlines.
I think that there are certain things that are whipped up, which I think is really unfortunate. There should be the chance for people to exercise their democratic right, but without us really dividing people.
When asked whether they thought Britain was a different nation culturally since the 2016 referendum, 49% of respondents agreed. 10% strongly agreed.
The data that we're picking up doesn't suggest that things have changed that much necessarily. People are concerned, but for many people there is just this state of they almost don't know.
The 2019 local elections in England were widely viewed as a referendum on the two main parties' handling of Brexit. The Conservatives lost over 1,300 council seats, while Labour lost 86. The Lib Dems and the Greens made considerable gains. UKIP lost 145 seats.
You are going to see natural damage to a sitting government, and so the Conservative losses almost weren't that surprising.
I think it's because people aren't sure what Labour's stance is on Brexit. I think it does need to become clearer on that.
Do you know what Labour's stance is on Brexit?
Yeah, well, at the minute we're working to try and get a customs union agreement, which means we leave the European Union but try and keep as much as the benefits as possible.
UKIP suffers from its own problems at the moment. I think their steps to the right maybe unpalatable for a number of people.
While politicians might be searching to resolve Brexit, the numbers show that Britain is still very much split.